Okay. I've never done this before, but this is just my um, review of the Amy Winehouse movie, Back to Black. Um, I saw it today. I know it came out like a couple days ago in the United States, and I just had a couple thoughts. As someone who's been a fan of Amy's for quite a long time and has watched her story and her legacy change more and more as time has gone on since she passed away. Um, so I won't try to ramble too long on this. Um, so I'll just give like my loose thoughts about what I saw, um, what I thought was okay, what I thought was bad, and what I actually didn't think was that bad, because I didn't think it was all bad, which surprised me because I was prepared for it to be all bad. And a lot of it was. A lot of it was very bad. Shamefully bad for the most part. But most of anything related to Amy, project-wise, releases, anything that's happened pretty much since she was in the public eye have been done not well, because she wasn't involved in most of anything other than this, apart from her, writing her music and her albums when she was alive. And even to the point after she got super famous, she didn't have much input in anything because she was being so controlled and manipulated behind the scenes by the infrastructure that was around her, that was supposed to protect her, but obviously did not protect her. And that's leads into the way this movie plays out, is because this movie does not, in my opinion as a fan, portray an accurate description of what happened to Amy, what happened with Amy. Obviously, it's a movie. We all know it's not going to be accurate. It's from a biased point of view, obviously, no matter what. Overall, I'd say my first thoughts when I was watching this was, it made me sad because it made me actually miss Amy. Duh. It makes you miss her. No one can play her. No one can play her. No one can sing like her. No one can mimic her attitude. No one can mimic the way she walks down the street. Nobody can mimic the way she smokes. Nobody can do that. There's like nobody that can do that. So watching this actress try to be like Amy walking down the street, and like I know this actress is English, but she's like even putting on a more like English accent that obviously it's not hers. It's awkward, it's corny, it's sad. It really just made me it makes you really realize, obviously if you're a fan, you already miss Amy, but it really hits it home like how shitty it is not having like the real Amy Winehouse here anymore to like be who she was. That's the first thing that really hits you, at least hit me as a fan when I watched this, was like, kind of like when I watched the documentary for the first time. The first thing when I got into the theaters, it was just like, I can't believe this is happening. This shouldn't be happening. And that's how I felt about this movie, is that it shouldn't be happening. I'll get into a few other things, but I was pleasantly surprised though at certain points that I wasn't super disappointed. And basically by that, I mean, any scene where there wasn't music playing, I was kind of pleasantly surprised by the actress herself, because at certain angles, certain shots, she kind of looks like Amy. And even though she's playing Amy and she's trying to be Amy, she's not. But at certain points, there was like kind of some funny, like little cute things that I thought were interesting and kind of funny. And she was a little bit harder than I thought that the trailer thought she was portrayed her to be, which I was happy about, because I was like, are they really going to capture Amy's attitude? Like, it's not this stupid, like, oh, I just want people to hear me, blah, 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 like corny, which has been the problem since she passed away, is it's been like corny, 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 corny. And she was not corny. When you try to act like her, you look corny. You look like a silly person wearing a wig running down the street, which is what this comes off as, because nobody can embody that style. Nobody had the swag to do it. So whatever. Just didn't work. I think they knew that. I think anybody knows that going into this. Okay, let me try to get to the points. I did make some small points. The music. The music was terrible. This actress technically has a nice voice, but she can't sing. You can't, again, nobody can sing like Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse is a once in a generation talent that inspires people to sing, to discover their own voices. So naturally, many young singers that come after her are going to have that blueprint, that Amy Winehouse blueprint. They're going to sound like her no matter what they do. You can hear it in the music ever since Amy came out. Any music, all over the radio, the style, the phrasing, everything has become reminiscent of the way Amy sang, which is obviously a throwback style. But it's like, you can't, as any singer, come in and throw that kind of phrasing with your voice on an Amy Winehouse track. You're going to sound stupid. You're going to make it sound laughable and silly and like karaoke and like Halloween karaoke when you're doing Amy Winehouse. So that's what it was. My 2 points that I had for the music were the actual voice, which is what I just talked about. She doesn't, at certain points, it sounds nice and presentable, but most of the time it sounds like a just bad imitation. The second part that goes along with the voice are the faces. Her Amy faces are just really bad. Her faces are really bad. Her faces are just the classic Amy looks that she's trying to give, the Amy looks, the eye rolls, the snarls, the head rolls, and it's just not happening. Okay. Next part. Excuse me. I have the actual actress. I have okay in some scenes. Like I said, mostly when she's not singing. Ultimately, this is my note. Ultimately, Amy was too private as a person to portray accurately, which is my take on Amy Winehouse. And the problem with this movie is that Amy Winehouse, when she became a superstar, was, even though she was in the press every day and being photographed every single day going out, she wasn't talking. She was incredibly private. And then she passed away. So there's no way to accurately portray what happened with Amy privately or personally, other than what her father has to say or what her friends has to say or anybody else around her who's written a book has to say. There's no way to accurately talk or speak from Amy's point of view. I get it. Obviously, this is a movie, so it's not supposed to be real. I know that. But it's just a bad caricature. It's the Amy Winehouse caricature, not Amy Winehouse, the artist or the woman. It's like David Bowie versus Ziggy Stardust, And the movie, to its credit, does go into this kind of about, after Frank came out, them saying, yo, we can't break the United States with an album that's kind of like this, like a jazzy album. You need to put down the guitar. Spoiler alert. I don't care. Sorry. Whatever. You need to have more stage presence, and they kind of show her stomp off and go, hey, blah, whatever, I'll give you stage presence. And then becomes like the Bride of Frankenstein, Amy Winehouse, back from the dead, rock and roll, Ziggy Stardust type character, which is so iconic and just the last rock star. Nobody's ever the last rock star, the last real punk, Amy, like just iconic, like Elvis Presley, just jet black hair, iconic, classic. So to the movie's credit, I thought that part was great, because I feel like that's really actually probably what did happen. They were like, look, you got to click into that something else, which probably pissed her off, whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna try and wrap this up because I got 2 more points, and my next 2 points are the overall arc of the film and what I call troubling details of the film. As I was driving home from watching this movie, I felt that there was kind of an overall message to this movie. Again, I probably already talked about this a little bit, but for me, the overall theme, or whatever, overall arc of the movie, was that Amy was bad, and that she was this twisted, kind of like flawed poet, singer-songwriter who basically couldn't help herself. And it didn't really go into that enough to prove that point, but it also didn't go into the other aspects of her life that everybody in reality knows what was going on, which is that no support from the father, no support from the mother, no support from the husband, no support from the management, no support from anybody. Just a bunch of leeches hanging on. It even goes into this whole thing of like, again, spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched it and you don't want to get spoiled, and don't watch this, whatever, you might get spoiled. It goes into it kind of leads into this thing where it's like they almost blame like her. They make it sound like, oh, Blake getting locked up in jail was super good for him and like got him off drugs, and now she's just this addict person out there on her own, and she was bad for Blake, and Blake didn't introduce her to the kind of stuff that, the drugs and stuff. It kind of made it look like she just was the one kind of doing everything. There was no real, like, I don't know. Anyways, there's no like accountability, I guess is what I'm saying, on the part of like Mitch or Blake or anything like that, or even the press. Really, it just like it was they portrayed it as a circus, but obviously there's no reality behind, like, well, there is reality behind that, obviously, but I'm saying there's no addressing the reality of what Mitch played in that and what Blake played in that, as far as the press is concerned, behind the scenes. Obviously, again, it's a movie, I know, blah, and it's from the people left behind's perspective. So anyways, I just felt like overall it made it look like Amy was the bad one, and that everybody was just trying to help her and this and that and blah blah blah, and she was just couldn't be helped, and she was just so sad that all this kind of stuff. It was just overall corny and just kind of, anyways, I probably already said all that, but okay, last part, troubling details. The clothes and the homes. I know that there are pieces in there that are actually Amy's clothes, which to me is like, why are you letting somebody wear this? Why if this is a movie and this actress is singing her songs badly, why are you letting her wear her actual clothes? That's kind of like morbid and disgusting, because if you really wanted to create such an accurate movie that you have to actually let this actress wear this dead person's clothes, don't you think you would put an emphasis on making sure the actress actually sounded like this person and wasn't over exaggerating and doing all this corny? And then the homes, which was my main reason why I wanted to see this movie, is because I heard that they shot these films in Amy's homes where she actually lived, which to me is bizarre again and troubling and gross and kind of just morbid. But I did want to see what they look like, so that's why I watch a movie. Kind of like Priscilla. The best part about the Priscilla movie was not really anything about the movie, was it just that you really get a deeper look inside Graceland as a property, which is, I mean, I've been to Graceland, but still there's parts of Graceland that like you can't go to. So I'm assuming in Priscilla, you maybe got to see more of the upstairs. I don't know. That's what I thought. That was the best part about the movie, that movie for me. Yeah, so this is already at 16 minutes. I think I'm going to cut it short and cut it. Ultimately, I'd say as a fan, as somebody who's been a fan for a long time, was a huge fan of Amy while she was still here. Overall, this is something that I think a lot of people saw happening, coming down, the line. As far as Amy was concerned, we've always known that there's going to be some really bad movie, and this is it. So if you're a fan, you should go see it just because you're a fan. And I mean, I didn't pay for it. I had a movie pass. So somebody gave me a movie pass and I went to go see it because I had to go see it. I also got a poster for it, but again, somebody gave it to me for free. So I'd say if you're a fan and you want to see it, maybe wait till you can watch it or get a free movie pass. Or if you don't care about paying for it, just go pay for it and go see it. But again, this is probably not going to be the last Amy Winehouse movie. Keep that in mind. I'm sure they're going to do it again because this probably isn't going to be received well. So again, as anything Amy Winehouse related goes on and continues into the future, Amy's not part of it. It's difficult to know if anything going on would be something that she's happy with. Most likely she wouldn't be. But as fans, what are we going to do? There's nothing we can do. But anyways, okay, so that's my review for Amy Winehouse, Back to Black, 2024. Let me know what you think if you see this. Bye.